Unfulfilled Love.
In the Middle Ages, in a green land of Western Europe, there lived a great house called York, famous for its bravery and courage. The family was led by two brothers, Sir Richard and Sir Henry.
Sir Richard had a daughter named Isabelle, a beautiful girl whose face shone like the moon. Her eyes were brighter than those of a doe, and her form was more delicate than the stem of spring flowers. Sir Henry also had a son of the same age as Isabelle, named William, a handsome and strong young man.
From childhood, Isabelle and William were devoted to each other. A bond formed between them that nothing could break. Neither could find peace without the other.
At the age of 10, they were sent to school to learn to read and write. Yet even during lessons, their hearts remained with each other. They pretended to look at their books, but the passion of love shone in their eyes. Whenever the teacher left the room, their excitement flared. Isabelle would whisper a tender word, or William would pretend to untie a knot in her hair with his finger. As soon as the teacher returned, they would quickly move apart.
This secret behavior continued for 5 years, years spent together, though the pain of separation and silence weighed heavily on their hearts.
In his youth, William became unrivaled in strength and swordsmanship. His sword was so powerful it could cleave through steel shields. But even the bravest warriors were powerless against the shield of Isabelle's love.
Isabelle, meanwhile, became famous for her beauty in the House of York. Her stature was as straight as a cypress, her face as radiant as morning light, and her gaze stole the hearts of young men.
Their parents saw no impropriety in them and did not forbid their meetings. At night, when all were asleep, the two would sit together in silence, whispering their secrets of love. Before dawn, they would secretly return to their beds.
At the age of 16, the flame of love was openly visible on their faces. Both grew thin and pale, lovesick and consumed by longing. Their parents, saddened by their children's sorrow, arranged an engagement ceremony. Tents were decorated, candelabras lit, and the House of York was filled with joy and celebration.
But in the very midst of the ceremony, tragedy struck. Their old enemy, the House of Lancaster, launched a sudden night raid. The men of York, unarmed, could not resist. The enemy plundered their possessions and carried away many women and girls captive. Among the captives was Isabelle, the brightest jewel of the family.
When William returned, he desperately searched for his beloved, asking everyone for news. Finding no trace, he cried out, struck his head against the stones, and wailed, "No! I will not believe she is in the hands of the enemy."
The proposal of Sir Robert.
Soon the eyes of Sir Robert, the young and arrogant commander of Lancaster, fell upon Isabelle. For years he had heard tales of her beauty. Now, seeing her with his own eyes, he was utterly captivated. He sent a message to Richard.
"Make peace with me. If you give Isabelle to me as my wife, I will honor the greatness of your house, share my lands with you, and place my wealth at your service. I am superior to William. He is poor, while I am a boundless sea." Quote,
In his rage, Richard gave no reply.
Unable to wait, Robert went to Isabelle himself. Looking at her, he said,
"O dazzling daughter of spring, since the moment I saw you, I have had no peace. Choose me, and you shall be my crown of sovereignty. All my lands and gold will be yours. For you I would even give my life."
Isabelle knew that open defiance would bring her great danger. She answered deceitfully,
"O brave and wealthy lord, you are superior to 100 Williams. But grant me 1 week, and then I will give you my answer."
Robert was deceived, imagining that he had won Isabelle's heart.
Meanwhile, William, in the ruined keep, moaned in despair.
"Oh Isabelle, my beloved, your absence will kill me. If you do not return within 2 or 3 days, my life will end."
His restlessness pierced his father Henry's heart. Henry counseled him,
"My son, let wisdom be your guide. Do not rush. We must gather an army and then seek vengeance together. To go alone is only to seek death."
William calmed himself slightly and swore,
"I will fight with my own blood to free Isabelle."
The great battle and the father's death.
News of the raid spread everywhere. Henry summoned the young men of the family. They rode toward the enemy with blood-red banners and shining armor.
Robert, preparing for battle, went to Isabelle again and said,
"The army of York has come. But my heart clings to you. Tell me truly, does your heart beat for William or for me? If you choose me, with 1 cry I shall destroy all your enemies today."
Isabelle again answered with cunning,
"How can you doubt me? You are dearer to me than William. My heart is always with you."
Robert grew arrogant and went to the battlefield.
The 2 armies faced one another on a wide plain. Drums thundered, horses neighed, and the ground trembled. A rain of arrows fell, and spears darkened the sky.
Robert cried out,
"I am the master of warriors. Let any man of courage face me."
One by one, York knights came against him, and one by one he struck him down. 40 champions fell. He roared,
"I do not fight old men. Let William come, that I may humiliate him."
William leapt to answer, but his father stopped him.
"Let me go. I shall teach this insolent youth a lesson."
Henry entered the field. But Robert, in the prime of youth and strength, brought his sword crashing down upon Henry's head, cleaving him in 2.
The army of York wailed in lament. William fainted 3 times before regaining consciousness. Weeping over his father's body, he cried,
"Father, I swear on your blood, I will bring down your killer."
The duel and Isabelle's intervention.
William and Robert clashed. Spears shattered, swords chipped, and maces proved useless. Robert wounded William's thigh, and William fell to the ground. Robert raised his sword to behead him.
At that moment, Isabelle could bear no more. She rode into the field in men's armor. Removing her helmet, her radiant face shone like the dawn, stunning the soldiers into silence. She thrust a spear into Robert's chest. He fell from his saddle, dead.
Isabelle cut William's bonds. Their eyes locked as the army of York cheered and the enemy retreated. Yet the sorrow of Henry's death weighed heavily upon William's heart.
The vengeance of Robert's sons.
Robert's two sons, Edward and Thomas, entered the field. Edward charged first, but fell at once to Isabel's spear.
Then came Thomas, arrogant and reckless. A fierce battle raged. Suddenly Isabel's helmet fell off, revealing her face. Enchanted, Thomas lowered his sword and declared,
"I want you, my beauty. Be my wife, or my vengeance will be merciless."
Isabel laughed bitterly.
"Your only bride shall be the grave."
In a rage, Thomas attacked, seized her, and carried her captive to his camp.
That night William crept into the camp and saw Thomas drinking wine beside the bound Isabel. With one swift blow, William struck off his head and freed her. Together they escaped.
Celebration filled York when they returned. Yet William's heart remained sorrowful, weighed down by his father's death and the poverty that haunted him.
The bitter return and William's poverty.
Back in the York camp, joy and victory resounded. Torches blazed and drums thundered. But William found little joy. His wounds still bled, and grief pressed upon him like a mountain.
Days passed, and his wounds began to heal. He longed again for union with Isabel. But misfortune struck anew. In the wars, his possessions and lands had been lost. William was left with nothing.
He thought to himself,
"No matter how brave a man may be, without wealth no one will consider him a worthy husband. A poor man's worth is nothing."
His loyal companion Samuel, seeing his sorrow, said,
"My lord, I cannot bear your grief. If you permit, I will give my life to bring you wealth."
Yet the greatest obstacle was Richard. He would never give his daughter to a man with nothing, even though William had twice saved Isabel's life.
Suitors came from every side. Princes and dukes with herds of livestock, treasuries of gold, and slaves, each seeking the golden flower of York. Isabel withered under the torment, growing thin and pale. When William heard, his heart broke.
In despair, he went to Lady Eleanor, Isabel's mother. Weeping, he begged,
"Do not separate me from my beloved. We have been devoted since childhood. If you part us, her blood will be on your hands."
Eleanor's heart softened, and she spoke to Richard. But Richard flared with anger.
"Do not speak to me of this poor man. Each day kings and dukes come to propose with treasures. How can I give her to one who owns nothing but air?"
His words struck William's heart like a dagger. Cast into darkness, William pleaded again, but Richard drove him away. At last he said,
"If he can, let him go to his uncle in Castile. That king is generous and childless. Perhaps he will enrich him."
At their farewell, Isabel gave William a ring.
"Your name will never leave my soul. Even if the heavens fall, I will remain loyal."
Weeping, William left her and set his road toward Castile.
The battle in Castile and victory.
William journeyed through the plains of northern France, a stranger filled with sorrow, until he reached the land of Castile in Spain. On the way, he saw old men and caravans, but he answered no questions. His lips were sealed, and his heart overflowed with grief.
When he arrived in the city, he learned that the kingdom was in peril. 2 emirs from the southern Mediterranean had attacked Castile. Castles lay in ruins, and the king and nobles had been taken captive. The people trembled in fear.
That night William sought out the one remaining minister of the royal family. The man welcomed him kindly and asked,
"Young man, who are you?"
William replied,
"I am from the house of York. I am a sorrowful lover, yet I wish now also to bear the sorrow of others. If you grant me command of 1,000 horsemen, I will crush the enemy and free your king."
Seeing the fire of bravery in his eyes, the minister agreed. The next day 1,000 warriors were entrusted to William.
Clad in armor, with his banner raised high, William rode out like thunder.
The first obstacle was a deep moat. His horses leapt it bravely. On the horizon, the enemy army appeared like a black curtain. William cried out,
"Either release your king, or my sword shall be your fate."
The enemy gave no answer. The battle began. Blood stained the ground, and armor split beneath his blows. In one charge, William dragged a man from his saddle and crushed him upon the earth. Another he slew with a dagger. That day he killed 60 men.
Finally, he reached the enemy's tent, where the 2 arrogant emirs sat. Like lightning, William struck them both down. Joy erupted among the Castilian soldiers, and the king was freed.
Falling at William's feet, the king declared,
"You are the savior of my kingdom. All that I possess is yours."
He bestowed upon him gold, flocks, lands, and treasures. William's fame spread throughout Europe.
Richard's betrayal and the King of Provence.
William returned with caravans laden with gold and jewels. Joyfully he thought,
"Now my greedy uncle has no excuse. I can finally claim Isabelle."
But a storm awaited.
During his absence, Isabelle's beauty had reached other courts. The King of Provence, a powerful ruler of southern France, lost his heart to her. He came to Richard bearing riches, and Eleanor, tempted by greed, urged her husband.
"If you refuse him, I will leave you."
Richard betrayed his promise to William and gave Isabelle to the King of Provence. To deceive William, they buried the carcass of a sheep in a grave and told him Isabelle was dead.
When William returned, Richard embraced him, saying,
"Ah, my son, fate was cruel. Isabelle has passed away. Here lies her grave."
William fainted 3 times before awakening. Covering his head with dust, he wept over the grave.
"O son of my life, why do you sleep in the dark earth?"
But a young girl of the family whispered the truth.
"The grave is empty. Isabelle is alive, wed to the King of Provence."
William cast aside the dirt and saw the sheep's carcass. In anguish he cried,
"O treacherous uncle, you sold your daughter for gold. You broke your vow."
Without delay, he set his path toward Provence.
The journey to Provence and the secret meeting.
With his loyal companion Samuel, William crossed the southern Alps. There, more than 40 bandits ambushed him. He fought like a lion, his body torn with wounds, until at last he fell unconscious beside a spring.
By chance, the King of Provence was returning from a hunt. Seeing the young man, he commanded,
"Take him to the castle. Let my physicians tend him."
In a stone hall, before a roaring fire, William was nursed back to health. Days later, the king asked kindly,
"Young man, what is your name?"
To hide his identity, William answered,
"Stephen, son of a merchant from the north. Bandits attacked me."
The king believed him.
One day, a ring slipped from William's hand into a goblet of warm milk. A lady-in-waiting carried it to Isabelle. Seeing the ring, she trembled, cried out, and fainted. She knew William lived.
That night she went to the balcony. Below, William walked in the courtyard. Their eyes met, and both fainted from shock.
A few days later, the King of Provence overheard their words through a window, memories of childhood, laments of loyalty, nothing more. He sighed to himself.
These two have loved since childhood. It is sin to part them.
He went to them and said,
"My house is yours. If you wish, I will set Isabelle free to be your wife."
William, bowing his head, answered,
"Your kindness is too great. I cannot repay it with ingratitude. Loyalty means